universe, if you've got two parents and you come from a middle-class family, everybody makes fun of you because then you're not legit.
Well, rather than steer in...
Hey! Look what I found. It was at my parents' house. This is my guitar case, my travel case. So I got my first guitar in, I guess, 2015. Then I got my next guitar. Like it was whenever I was invited to play at Mania in Jefferson that I got my, and then they wanted to bring me, then the NJP wanted to bring me to Pennsylvania. I got a new guitar because I needed a better guitar. But I wanted a guitar that sounded good. Modern guitar was old, didn't sound no good. Wouldn't stay in tune. So I got one, and then, after I traveled and played in Pennsylvania twice and in New Hampshire once, it broke. My ex fell and caught herself on the neck of my guitar and snapped it. Anyway, this is the case. And this I found it at my parents' house, and I want to open it up and go through it with you. Now, the last time I put anything in here was 2021. Autumn of 2021. I performed at the second NJP conference in February. Did I perform? Yeah, I did, on stage with my band, the Manor Band. Shout out to y'all. Bunch of feds. They're probably just a bunch of feds. This first one, nothing. Okay, check this out. Got some swag, Nazi swag. First, let's see what these things say. This is not my handwriting. And I do not know the context. Just some notes, apparently. I wrote the same thing again right here. Jewish history, Jewish religion, Israel Shahak. All right, let's see what this is. More notes that another person wrote. Has to have been another person. You know why? I don't write in capitals. As a matter of fact, this is my handwriting. I don't take a lot of time to write something down. In the spirit of grace, agents of repression, probably ideas for like a lyric or a song name, some stickers. They say it's okay to be white, and then there's this code thing that'll bring you to therightstuff.biz. Antelope Hill, a rock. I'm one of them rock type of niggas. NJP stickers and pins. And I got a handful of these. Rusty made these. Rusty's around there somewhere. I saw you comment the other day, Hail Baphomet, on some channel, Rusty. Assuming he's like a real person, he seems like a good guy. I like him. I wonder if he's really a rocket scientist. Hey Rusty. I don't know, man, I was low, man. I went really low. You know, I was in that organization, the Manor Bund. And, you know, and at the NJP, everybody's drinking, you know, open bar. You know, if you really want to bring people together for anything good, you have to foster a honesty. You can't. If people feel guilty, if they're ashamed, then they're gonna hide. It needs to be okay to fall on your face. It needs to be like, brother, here, let me help you out. That's how it ought to go. Because while I was the governor of the Gulf Coast Lodge, I was an alcoholic. And a lot of those guys are alcoholics. Alcoholism ain't no good. A lot of them are addicted to cigarettes. Because it turns out that these white nationalists, they're just normal people. Turns out that they're like real people, just like you. And but they're mad, but they're angry, you know. They're angry and they're proud. You know, their anger and their proud, and their pride might be different than your anger and your pride, but it's just all sin. You know, their sin might look different than yours. But it's all sin. This, oh well, let's reach in the back. This is a plane ticket to Pittsburgh. And then look at this. So after Hurricane Ida, really right before Hurricane Ida is when I started drinking again. Because I didn't drink for years. And then the conferences in February, March, April, May, June. July, Mike died. In July, my friend Mike was entered into a thing called a ventilator and murdered by a doctor. I'm sorry. There was a sentinel event. Did you know that the leading cause of death is sentinel events? So anyway, when Mike died, after the funeral, everybody went and got a drink in his name. He's an Irishman. And I went and I threw down some Irish car bombs and some Guinness with, what do you call it whenever you drop it? Is that what an Irish car bomb is? I think so. Is that whenever you drop Jaeger into Guinness? Those were my favorite drinks, Jaeger and Guinness. And then, bam, back to being an alcoholic. I hadn't had a drink in years. We'll miss you, Mike. Bam, I'm an alcoholic. And I remember buying liquor the next day and the mother of my children saying, "You shouldn't do that, Julian." And I say, "Oh, baby, in moderation, I'll be okay." Turns out there was no moderation. And I had slipped so deep into sin, and I don't know why. Oh, wait, I do. It was the alcohol. It was the alcohol, probably coincided with fighting with her. Because alcohol is a coping mechanism. And this slip boy, it was trying to figure out how to say the next part. And I started cross-dressing again in 2021. I had stopped cross-dressing like 5 years earlier or something like that. I'd stopped. I started cross-dressing again when I started drinking again, fighting with the mother of my children. I assume that we were fighting. I mean, why was I doing that? And there was a friend that I had who I talked to, the woman who used to enslave me when I was younger, who I wrote all those songs about. She was back in my life and she encouraged it. And we would hang out and she would complain about her husband and she would encourage me to complain about the mother of my sons. And we would just complain. And I would cross-dress and I would send her pictures. And she liked that. She would send me pictures too. Anyway. Look what I found. In the pocket of my guitar, I found some shorts that I used to wear. I was a Nazi leader, and I was dressing like a woman in secret, living with my family, with children. And I was an alcoholic. And it's not much of a stretch of the imagination to deduce that I cheated on her with my friend who was encouraging this. I cheated on the mother of my children She never found, I never ever told her that. She never found out. My brother told her that, or something to that effect. Because my brother's the only person I had ever told. Why? Why? I think it had a lot to do with I was disgusted with her. Because she was disgusting to me, and I hated her. And she didn't do anything. The house was filthy, and she ignored me all the time. And I wanted to be intimate with a woman. And so I wore women's clothing. That's how that works. That's how that works. That was 4 years ago. Four short years ago. It was 2021. But in 2023, I was saved. I stopped cross-dressing again in 2022. I continued to do it into 2022. After she left and took our sons. And she left me because I was cross-dressing. We got in a fight, and we were both hysterical, and I wanted to hurt her. She was saying things that hurt me, and I wanted to hurt her, but my words weren't enough. And so I pulled up my shirt and revealed to her that I was wearing a bra, just to hurt her. Why was I doing it? I don't know, I guess I was just getting off. Why was I doing it? I don't know. Can you imagine that I was addicted to porn also? Anyway, dude, this booty shorts in the guitar bag of the Nazi leaders, of the Nazi leader. Well, all y'all got skeletons in your closet. Not me. Y'all could have these skeletons. I don't love these skeletons. Look, they dead. I don't want them in my closet. I don't need no secrets in my closet. But I overcame all of that. The Nazism, the cross-dressing. A lot of y'all know about my story. But that's part of it that I never gotten into before. Because it hurts to say these things. It hurts. Ow. But there it is. And you know what? I need to say this because a lot of young men, a lot of men are falling into this. And you shouldn't be cruel to them. They're suffering. It's a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism. Just like sex, just like drugs, just like cigarettes and alcohol. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, Illy, bye.